Hi there. I'm trying this again. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Hopefully you can hear me and see me and all that. So I'm Natalie Large, also known as Shaman Mama, and I'm here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's a beautiful, balmy evening right now, a little humid, and it's really quite fabulous. I love sitting outside and getting this evening and just like enjoying the night. So I really love to, I love first of all being invited to tell stories. It really is an awesome opportunity. But one of the things that I find is I loved hearing people tell vulnerable stories, because I feel like that is where you get into the sweetest part of a soul, is to get into their hearts and souls and their vulnerable places and to just really hear what is going on with them. And so for me tonight, I'm sharing a special story of a very vulnerable and very special time of my life. And so I'll start with the fact that I was very much a businesswoman up until this point. And then, let's see, at about 28, I got married. I was still very businessy, but we wanted, my husband and I wanted to have children. And so for 5 years, we tried to have kids, and I tried to get pregnant. And I had a lot of trouble getting pregnant. And I didn't want to go, I didn't want to do the treatments and things like that. So I did everything in the natural realm, and ended up getting pregnant with the help of acupuncture treatment. And so finally I got pregnant after 5 years of trying. And then I had my baby boy, my first baby boy. Well, when he was born, he was 6.5 weeks early. And as a so-called older mom, I guess there's going to be some risk. And so when he was born early, that meant that he had to be in the NICU for a little bit of time in order to make sure that he's okay, because he was very, very low in weight when he was born as well. And so after a week or so of him being in the NICU, they finally sent us home. And when we got home with him, literally within hours, we thought something was not right with him for the first time for him to be home with us. And so we literally, on the first day back with him, we literally took him back to the hospital. We were really scared. Something just was not right. And so when we got to the hospital, they took us right into this hospital room, and the doctor came in, and he says, wow, so he must have got a bacterial infection while he was here in the hospital. And we're like, okay. And they said, so the problem is it's in his bowels, and it's very dangerous. And they said, unfortunately, I'm not sure if he's going to make it. And they said, he's probably not going to make it. He was literally within 24 hours, he had lost like 2 pounds, and he was 4.5 pounds when he was born. So he was 2.5 pounds as we're sitting there, and we're talking to the doctor, and he's telling us, he's probably not going to make it. And so he looked like a little bird. And so they said, well, he may not make it, but he may have to get his colon cut out and get a colostomy bag. That may be a possibility. Or possibility number 3 is he will make it based on these antibiotics. And the doctor was like, but I don't know, it's really stretching it. He's 2.5 pounds, he's really small, and I just wouldn't expect him to make it. So we're like, oh, whew. And so I looked down at him, and it's like, he could hear everything we were saying. He's 2.5 pounds, all eyeballs, because he's wrapped up. And he's looking up at us, and his eyes spoke to me, and his eyes said, Mom, don't worry, I have big things to do, and you don't need to worry about it. I got this. And he just like completely, his eyes told me exactly what was going to happen. It was so bizarre. Like, it was just like the most magical moment. And so there was something came over me where I just knew that, he was going to be okay, or I just believed that he was going to be okay. So this is where like just the power of belief comes in. And so then we had to leave because he had to go to the NICU again. And Chris and I went to the parking garage, and we literally, like right when we got to the car, we literally fell to our knees, and we like just literally cried. And we had this moment that it just felt like, it was almost like Rowan was still saying, you know, Mom, you know, Dad, don't worry, I'm gonna be okay. Just let me do this. And so then, you know, we went home, and some time went by, and well, ended up being that the best case scenario ended up working. The medicine worked, his bowels were saved, but we did have one other issue still to deal with. And, you know, he was born with a hole in his heart. And they told us that he has to be about a year, because it takes about a year for a baby, you know, when they have a heart and a hole in their heart, it takes about a year for them to get to the proper weight for them to have that surgery where they can sew it up. And so they said, so you're going to go home, and you're going to take your baby home, and, you know, he's going to have a heart monitor, and for the next year, you're going to have to feed him and make sure he grows, and you got to keep him, you know, calm, and he had 75% oxygen, and they said, you have got to just keep him and have him gaining weight and all this, and so they gave us a little heart monitor, you know. And so I don't know if you know, but like heart monitors, when if they move, it goes off. So literally for a year, it was just like this boop, 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 you know, the sonar of the heart, you know, constantly reminding us that we got to keep his heart, you know, and his life is just, you know, his life was just very, 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 very precious, you know. And we just had to like keep him, you know, just right for this surgery. And so we did everything right, you know, got his weight where it needed to be, and so we scheduled for his heart surgery literally a week or so before his first birthday. And so hardest day ever. But the day before, we took this amazing photo. It was with him with a heart, you know, tie-dye, and we were holding him in our backyard, and we just took this powerful picture of the sun just like beaming down, and it was just like this picture of just like, we're gonna make it, we're gonna make it through this, because the next day we're gonna have open heart surgery. So we get there, and he goes into his surgery, and, you know, at this point, like, I was like, there is nothing that can stop us. We have got this. And so what I did was I packed this little bag, and it had like a little like my favorite tapestry and some crystals and a picture and just like my favorite essential oil. And I went and I sat by the hospital on the lawn in this very awkward place, not like in the common area where a lot of people are. Like, I wanted to be away from everybody. I just wanted to connect. And so I just mind my own business, you know. I'd been there for a little while, and and was sitting, and just what I wanted to do while I was on that tapestry was to completely connect with Rowan while he was having a surgery. And there was nothing that anybody could do to stop me from that. It was just like, I'm there with him the whole way, you know, because I don't know if you also know this, but a surgery like this means that they stop the heart and put the heart on a monitor. I mean, on a machine that runs his blood through a machine. And, well, in the middle of the surgery, we get a phone call that they didn't have the right blood in the room, and he had already gone under anesthesia. And so they said, we have to rush to Oklahoma City in an ambulance to rush there to get the right blood and rush back. Maybe it was a helicopter, but I think I remember hearing it was an ambulance. And so they went, and so that added another 2 hours of time while he was having his surgery. So it was like, instead of it being like a 2.5 hour surgery, it ended up being like a 4.5 hour surgery. And so I'm still just sitting there on my tapestry, and I'm just being positive, and I'm just like trying to just be with him and just be positive. And this part is just really cool. So there was this like security guard or something who was part of the hospital, and he came up to me, and he says, he just asked me, he just said, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm just sitting here. And he's like, well, I don't really think anybody's supposed to be over here. And I was like, well, it's, you know, it's by a tree, it's shady, and I'm just connected with my son. I'm minding my own business. Is there any way you can just let me just be and just allow me to have this time? And he was like, okay. And he let me. And so that was really neat. But what was really cool about him is just like, there was just something about him, like that just, he came at the right moment, that just kind of what was almost like, you know, in a movie where there's just like these little parts that like accentuate what's really going on. And like, it was almost like he just like came out of nowhere, like he was some sort of connector to let me know that, again, everything's gonna be okay. And so, you know, in that year of up to the heart surgery, you know, it was just that connecting. And so we never lost that. And so during that heart surgery and that time, we just realized that Rowan is just this amazing human, and he made it. He made it through the heart surgery, even with the added time with the blood, and we had a little, you know, some troubles there at first, and he even ended up having a brother come a couple years later. But one of the things that just, my message is just like, never give up, always believe, always be kind. Anyone can be there just to like help, you know, transfer just positive energy. Always look for great positive energy in people and stories, and any way you can connect, and any way you can help, and just believe, and just really just be in that moment as strong as you possibly can, because, you know, it just, whatever it may be, whatever your story is or whatever your trauma is. And then when you do have that trauma, don't be afraid to share, because when you relate on a level where you can just like really relate from your heart and your core, there's just nothing more beautiful than that. So I wanted to really quick before I go, so don't hang up, is just really quick, come here, just 1 second. I just wanted to show you that this is literally 15 years later. Here he is. So he's real, and he's my summer solstice boy, and he's completely a musician and creative, and he does have amazing things to do, and I just think he's the greatest thing ever. And so never give up, whatever it is. Peace out. Love you. Thank you, Jennifer, for the opportunity, and everybody else. So love you so much. Never give up.